Welcome back to Small Caps, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kerry Stevenson. I've asked Thomas Lyne, he's the CEO of Taruga Minerals, ASX code is TAR, to come back and give us a bit of an update. Now, Taruga originally started out as they've got a couple of copper projects in South Australia, more recently updated with some rare earths. They've done some drilling, and so there's some news to update the market with. Also, I just want to find out a little bit more about the two different projects they've got. Well, they've got more than two different projects, but let's just get stuck into it. Tom, good to see you. Thanks for coming back on Small Caps.
Likewise, Gary. Thanks. Really nice to be here again.
Yeah, good to see you. Look, first of all, before we get into the guts of the conversation, brief overview on Who Are Taruga.
Sure. So we started as a copper-focused exploration company, as you said. We're now focusing on copper and rare earth elements because we have uncovered some quite material rare earth elements at our Mount Craig project. So we are actively building our portfolio. We've got over 4,000 square kilometres of exploration ground in South Australia, prospective for copper and rare earth elements, and we're continuing to grow that portfolio. We just won in the competitive process a new piece of ground that we competed against other companies for in South Australia, the Martins Well project. Huge potential there for rare earths and copper. And we also were awarded the Kernamona project, which is right near Kalkaroo, which is the largest undeveloped open cut copper project in Australia. I'm only 40 k's from that, the really fantastic tenement there, which we'll get started on soon. We've got our Flinders ISCG project, and we've got our Mount Craig project, which, as I said, is prospective for copper and rare earth elements, and we've had some good drill hits there across copper and rare earths, and we're very confident that it's well endowed there with lots of metal, and we're pretty excited about the program that we're currently drilling there at the moment.
Now, let's get stuck into a couple of questions I've got for you. The Flinders project kind of has been on care and maintenance for a while, and then the focus has gone on to Mount Craig project, where you've got the copper and the rare earths. Are you going to just say, you know what, Flinders is too hard, let's focus on Mount Craig? Or is Mount Craig just a kind of, well, we had to have something? I'm sorry to be so blunt, but that's the way I'm looking at it at the moment.
It's a fair question, and some people have asked it, but absolutely not. Mount Craig is an amazing project, and the only reason it wasn't initially in the portfolio when I first pegged the ground is because I couldn't get it. I wanted Mount Craig more than I wanted even Flinders project early on, but I just couldn't get my hands on it. And finally, it became available after I'd already pegged Flinders project, and we won it. And we've expanded it. It's 3 times larger than it was when we first pegged it. Now it's over 1,500 square kilometres. Flinders project's an amazing project too. We really hope to be able to get back there. We're excited to get back and drill the targets we've defined there. I know a lot of our shareholders are excited there as well. But we're really lucky that we had Mount Craig project when we had to walk away temporarily from Flinders project, and that it was such a fantastic project too. It's not a second-class project. It's a first-class project.
Okay.
If we had access to both, I think we would be developing them concurrently, and spreading our resources across both of them. So we're really excited about Mount Craig, and we're happy to be there. And we're having some good success with the drill at the moment. There is huge copper potential, and we're really excited about the fact that we've just found out that there's significant rare earth potential there as well, which is becoming very material for us.
I'm going to come to the rare earths in a minute. What I want to find out is Flinders worth holding on to if it's got some challenges with getting access to it?
Definitely. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. That's a phrase that people always say, and sometimes you have to fight for good things. We are very confident that Flinders project should be held on to. We're going to continue to do everything we can to get back on that ground. We know there's huge community support from both Aboriginal community members and also pastoral community members there. We know that the majority of local people want the benefits that exploration success can deliver at that project. And so we have a duty and a responsibility to see this through and do everything we can to get back there, because the region really needs it. The people have been hit by COVID and drought, low wool prices, things like that, and there really needs some new industry in that region. And in my opinion, the only thing that's going to deliver that for people is going to be exploration, success, mining, resource development.
What's the holdup then?
The holdup is that it's quite a complicated process. We have applications for authorizations under the Aboriginal Heritage Act. The Act is not simple. There's been some notable challenges going on recently with other applications in South Australia. And it seems like they may have affected the timing on ours because it seems as if regulators are waiting to see what happened with another application which has been approved recently over the Lake Torrens area, a company called Kelray Proprietary Limited, a subsidiary of Argonaut. So that was an approval that came through and it was challenged in the Supreme Court.
Oh,
And
wow.
everyone, I think people were waiting to see what the judgment was, and that's come through now just recently. So we don't know when the decision is going to come through for the Flinders project, but it's been 18 months now. It's been frustrating for our shareholders.
Yeah.
It's been frustrating for us as a company and also for local stakeholders there as well who want to see the project go ahead. It's been frustrating for many parties, but we don't know exactly when the decision is going to be. The application's still live, and we're hoping to get a decision from the minister soon.
What's the argument from the other side? Are you able to share that with us? I mean, what's their beef with it?
Look, I think the group that initially kind of raised the concern and put essentially a block on the exploration there, they're not keen on any form of exploration or development in the region. They're quite well known for that. We didn't know them at the time. We didn't even know the group existed at the time when we started our exploration program there. Since their interaction with us, there have been other companies and organizations who have had their projects blocked by the same group, and they just don't want to see any form of development in the region, I believe. And there's another project on the Flinders project, a vanadium redox flow salt battery system with a solar farm. This is renewable technology, fantastic for the future green economy. This is a really good project that is, good in many respects. It's a green project and it's been blocked as well, which is really unfortunate because it was producing hundreds of jobs in the development phase. It was renewable, and it was in an area that's heavily disturbed. There's gas pipelines, substations, there's a rail line running straight past it, which is what's so appealing about the project as well, or the infrastructure that's there. So it's frustrating for many, and it's a shame. But that group doesn't speak on behalf of all people. They don't speak on behalf of all Aboriginal people in the region, and they don't speak on behalf of all people in the community. There are many people, we're very heartwarmed by this, that support the project and want to see it go ahead. And we really need to kind of continue with it because it's not always going to be that everyone wants to see something go ahead. There's always going to be some people that don't like it, right? But we can't base our entire focus around a few people who don't like it when there are so many people who want to see things move forward. So we're going to continue, and we're going to move forward, and we really hope to have a decision soon. We hope it's a positive decision. But we're waiting just like everybody else.
And it's interesting what you said. Quite frankly, I sometimes think, well, look, the community wants it. It's going to create jobs, and as you just pointed out, there's a green technology that's been blocked as well. Maybe they just don't want any sort of progress. But you know what? Let's hope sanity prevails and something comes out. Now, let's do a hypothetical here, Thomas. If they turn around and go, "Yep, you can go ahead with Flinders," what happens to Mount Craig? Because Mount Craig, which you do really like, and you said that you couldn't get your hands on it, and I guess it was just serendipitous that Mount Craig became available shortly after Flinders was going through this challenge. So where are you at with Mount Craig? Why do you like it so much? Where's the shareholder value going forward with this?
Sure. So just to answer the first question, if the approval came through and we're able to return to Flinders project, we've completed a lot of work at Mount Craig over the last 18 months, and we have drill-ready targets at Flinders. I think we would definitely be going to complete the program that we initially intended at Flinders because it's basically ready to go.
Okay.
But then we would be going back and forth between Flinders and Mount Craig, or we'd be expanding our team and getting more resources, and we'd be operating the two projects concurrently. So Mount Craig project, we had some really good success there. Our first program at Waiaka, after we left Flinders project, we hit high-grade sediment-hosted copper at Waiaka. That's the first time high-grade sediment-hosted copper has ever been found at the project. Massive project. We've had companies like Rio there in the past, CSL, big companies doing systematic exploration there, but testing very limited models. But yet we're the first company to drill high-grade sediment-hosted copper there. So we, came into this looking at it. It's got the highest concentration of surface copper mineralisation at surface anywhere in South Australia that we're aware of, which is why I was so excited about it initially. But it's got the right geology. It's got a very interesting geology. We call it a diapiric breccia system. And
I remember you saying that last
I'll
time,
tell you
and I went, "What's that mean? Tell us again."
And basically, it's if you look at some of the world's best sediment-hosted copper systems, the Kamoa-Kakula deposit, 20 million tons of contained copper metal in the DRC. We have the exact same geology here, and this project was formed in the same geological setting. There's basically an ancient inland sea where the continent was rifting apart. So we call it an intracratonic rift margin environment, and these sediments were deposited. And then what's happened is these buoyant rocks have erupted up to the surface. So old rocks have come up to the surface where they're kind of been deposited as a breccia and younger rocks. And this is what happened in the Central African Copper Belt, and some of the world's best copper deposits are there. We've got the same geology here at Mount Craig project. It's the largest diapiric breccia exposed at the surface in Australia, and it's one of the largest in the world, the Mount Craig project. So it's extremely appealing. It's very rare. It's a large system. We own the entire system. As explorationists, we look at stuff like this and we apply a systems mentality, and we can see that there's a huge likelihood that there are going to be large base metal deposits here, large sediment-hosted copper deposits here. It's just a matter of being a junior company, of being able to systematically explore for these resources in a way which is cost-effective and suited to the budget and size of our team. So, we have to be smart. We have to increase our in-house capabilities. But we've been having some really good success at Mount Craig. As I said, we've hit high-grade copper. We hit rare earth elements last year by accident while we were exploring for copper at Morgan's Creek. By the way, we hit copper too. We actually hit disseminated copper sulfides in a skarn system, which in itself is a very exciting prospect at Morgan's Creek, which we've not yet followed up. But it has the potential to be quite large as well. We've started focusing on the rare earths there at Morgan's Creek because they're so shallow at the surface and they have great metallurgy. But we have fantastic copper prospects across the entire project. Birthday Ridge is another one, which we hope to be getting to soon. That has historical drill hits and a lot of mineralisation starting at the surface. A lot of holes ended in copper mineralisation, and it's had no modern drilling. So 2 kilometres of strike, mineralised strike there. Look, just going back on Waiaka has 58 kilometres of strike, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. This project is massive. The scale is huge, and the potential is huge for massive copper deposits. So that's why we first picked it up. But we're definitely spreading our attention there now between copper and rare earths. But we're never letting go of the copper, of the co-focus of copper at this project. We're confident the potential there is massive.
How does a little company like Taruga deal with a massive 58 kilometres of strike?
Well, we have to be very selective. We have to apply really good geophysics, right? We have to use a systems mentality to prioritize our targets, and we have to be really good at prioritizing. So we fly airborne geophysics, magnetics, radiometrics. We do structural interpretations. We bring experts in, geophysical experts, structural geology experts, to assist our core team in how to interpret this large system and where to spend our time and money. And then we go and apply cost-effective techniques like RC drilling. We've just tried rabbit air core drilling, which is even cheaper than RC. We try and limit the amount of diamond drilling we do, which is the best kind of exploration tool for drilling-wise, but it's the most expensive. And we try and build a story up and refine our targets down. So when we do that more expensive drilling, like diamond drilling, we have to do deeper drilling to get deeper into the system. Then we've got the highest chance of success. So that's what we've been doing. We just spent the last 12 months going back to basics. We didn't drill a single hole, and we've just been reprioritizing our targets and reinterpreting the entire project. We've had a team on the ground 24/7. We've been flying new surveys. We bought our own ground magnetics unit, our own ground gravity geophysics unit. This is a $250,000 capital investment, in that. And most companies don't own this equipment. They sub it out to other contractors. But we want to build our in-house capacity because our tenements are so big. And so we're upskilling our team members, and we're buying our own equipment, and we're using that to help to refine our targets, prioritize them for more effective drilling. And we've just gone out and done started the first drilling program since we started that review process, and we're drilling right now. So we're drilling, some of these new targets right now that have come out at the end of that reprioritization and reinterpretation process.
How long does it take? Now we talk. I want to just let's park Flinders for the moment because I know shareholders are disappointed with that. Nothing you can do. It's. I guess would I be right in saying it's in the system? You can't hurry. You can't hurry love, so to speak. And it's just got to. I guess shareholders have got to be patient, even though they're probably frustrated. Would you say that's right?
Nobody likes being patient in junior exploration, but yes, we have to be patient to await the decision to come through there. People often hit me up and ask for updates. If I have an update, it's going to be on the ASX immediately. So we don't get updates regularly, and when we do, we publish them. We're just waiting like everybody else.
All right. Well, who knows? But in the meantime, Mount Craig, everyone's talking rare earths at the moment. Tom, everyone's just going, I've got Mount rare earths. No, I've got Mount rare earths. No, I've got Mount rare earths. Have you really got rare earths? I mean, and is that taking the focus away from the copper? Why did you stumble across these? I guess is a question, or how?
Definitely not. And by the way, a lot of our rare earth targets sit over the top of copper targets. That's why we hit them by accident in the first place, because the geology that forms these rare earth mineralisation also forms copper mineralisation. So we're pretty lucky that we can sometimes test both in one lot of drilling. But the rare earths aren't taking away from our focus on copper. As I said, we're still remaining our focus on copper because we know the potential there is massive. The rare earths were hit by accident. We did some metallurgy on those before we got too excited about them. By the way, there's a lot of companies on the ASX right now with rare earths, right? You just said it. But we were actually one of the first handful of companies to kind of come out with rare earths. So we weren't kind of chasing, trying to jump on the bandwagon of anything. We hit these things and we reported it in July last year. So, that's a long time ago. There's been a lot of new companies coming in now since then. But in the meantime, we've done some metallurgy and we wanted to make sure that we knew that these rare earths were material before we made too much noise about them and got too excited. And really, like, the metallurgy is key. And what we found is that the rare earths there, even though we've just done sporadic drilling, they have a very high proportion of readily soluble rare earth elements. And what that means is that it's amenable likely to a low cost, simple metallurgical flow sheet. And that makes or breaks rare earth element projects. To talk about, to get into the geology jargon again, you have mineral phase rare earth elements, colloidal rare earth elements, and ionic rare earth elements. A lot of people are trying to focus on the ionic clay style rare earth elements. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stuff we're seeing in Australia likely has a combination of colloidal and ionic, but both of those are good because they allow you to leach the rare earths out very easily using a small amount of acid. It's very simple. You don't need high temperature, high pressure. When you get into the mineral phase stuff like carbonatites, they're often higher grade, but you're looking at very complicated metallurgy. You need extreme infrastructure, high temperature, high pressure. It's very expensive. You need big scale, high grade. But with these clay-hosted deposits, the ones that are hosted in the weathered and oxidized zones of weathered rock with a high clay component, we're finding that they actually have a really, amenable to low cost extraction. But I think that what we've got at Morgan's Creek is unique to many of the other deposits that we're seeing come up around South Australia and Western Australia. It's different. I haven't seen a like style.
What's next then? What's the news going forward for Taruga Minerals? And I guess it's in two parts, because the other part is the share price has really just been a bit meh lately. What do you think's going to get people a little bit more interested in what?
Well, I think, as I said, we've just done our first targeted rare earth exploration drilling program. So I think, if those results are, a positive and proof concept that we can actually target these things and hit them intentionally, that should change people's perception of, how material this is. And, we should start to see a bit more love in the market. We've got a bunch of new copper targets that we're doing exploration on. And I think we've had some land access challenges that once cleared up will really, could cause a massive re-rating of the company. So, we've got assays at the lab right now for rare earths. We've got assays going in for copper soon. And then we've got, some land access potentially opening up soon through native title agreements. We have about 40% of our tenements covered by native title land that we don't have access to at the moment. We've got fantastic targets in freehold land, which isn't covered by native title, but that's going to be resolved soon. One of the groups that we are traditional owners in the area, the Adnyamatna people, are under special administration. And at no fault of their own and no fault of ours, that's kind of held us back from accessing that native title land, because you can't conduct mining and exploration on native title land without a native title agreement.
Yep.
And through being in administration, we haven't been able to execute a native title agreement.
So how can you, if they're going to come out of administration, or how does that happen?
Yeah, definitely. They will come out of administration. We're confident it's going to be soon. We're doing everything we can to support ATLA in coming through this. We've co-funded a position for them, a heritage consultant, to assist with them engaging with industry, with another resources company. We're employing Adnyamathanha people. We've got full-time Adnyamathanha Koyani employees in our team at the moment. So we're not waiting to be a $500 million company before we do the things that mining and exploration companies should be doing for communities. We're sponsoring local events. We're employing local Aboriginal people. We're employing local people. 80% of our expenditure this year has gone to local people, local community members, and local businesses in South Australia. So we're walking the walk now. And I'm confident that that native title agreement will be able to be finalised soon. We just have to continue to support ATLA to come out of administration and move forward to become self-sustainable again. And it's been almost 2 years, probably 2 years they've been in administration. So I think we're coming to the end now. But that's, one thing that people have to look forward to as well, land access opening up. Despite the fantastic targets we have access to right now. I mean, we did 13,000 meters of drilling last year, so we've got access to fantastic targets. We're hitting high-grade copper and rare earths. So no shortage of great targets, but that just opens up even more sheer scale of these projects that we have access to. When we get that additional access, it just opens up things even more.
All right, Thomas. Well, I think you're probably going to have to come back as soon as that land access is granted or things start to move. Make sure you reach out and come back to me. But you know how I like to finish these things off. Since I last spoke to you, I need to know 3 reasons why our people should be sitting up and taking notice of Taruga right now.
Absolutely. Well, look, we've got massive portfolios, right, and strong exposure to copper and rare earth elements, and those are both, very centered around the future green economy. So they're only going to get more and more valuable and more scarce, and we need access to those for sovereign risk, for defense capabilities, to reduce our reliance on China and Russia, which is becoming more and more important. We've got strong government support. So number 2, we've got $650,000 worth of government co-funding for copper and rare earth element exploration. So big validation, big support from the state government in South Australia, and they're helping us there with their exploration. And we've got assays at the lab. We've got rare earth element assays at the lab, and we're drilling right now. So we're still drilling. We've got some rare earth and copper targets in the drilling pipeline, and we're going to be drilling again before the year's out for both rare earth elements and copper. So lots of action on the horizon. I know you said 3 things, but the 4th thing, as I said, is that
you've been listening to somebody else. All right, go on.
The blue sky there that that may occur is a few separate land access milestones could also happen in the near future that could cause a re-rating of the company. So that, while that's outside of our control, that's something else to think about.
Well, I said that's how I was going to finish up the thing, but you said 4, so I'm going to throw this one at you. Is this one of the better I guess, tenements that you've got your hands on in your career? How excited are you about Mount Craig?
Oh, absolutely. Mount Craig is one of the best tenements I've ever had the luxury of exploring. And whilst, it's not easy always, you don't always make a major discovery on the first hole, I'm confident that we've got the right geology and the right hallmarks with the potential for large copper and rare earth element deposits there. And we're going to continue to advance these targets and look to make discoveries and start to build and define resources over the next 12 months.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't say deposit, he said deposit. So let's hold him to that. Let's see how he goes with all of this drilling. The assay results are imminent. They're coming back from the lab. Lots of news flow going forward, lots of information coming up. And look, I wish you all the best with Flinders. Let's hope that gets resolved very soon, because at the end of the day, we all need metals as we move into this electronic revolution. Thomas Lyon, CEO of Taruga Minerals, thanks for joining me on Small Caps today.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate your time.